education. The other thing about STEM education is that critical thinking and problem solving must be involved. So you can see that all of us were initially stumped. Yeah, we are stranded. What will I do? You know, we had to what? Think. There's no clear answer. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. And that is what the basis of STEM education is. It promotes critical thinking and problem solving. The last thing is that it promotes creativity and innovation. I'm going to give you an example. So, let's say we're in class. This term, we want to teach children addition and subtraction, right? And I want to use it with STEM education. Can someone give me an idea of how I can integrate STEM in this teaching of math English and of addition? Can someone give me an example? Oh yeah, you see now it requires critical thinking. Oh yeah, give example. Oh, give example. Come on. I want to teach STEM education in school this year, but I want to talk about math addition and subtraction. Who can give me an idea of how I will do everything together? Oh yeah, come. Titi. This class is not for me to tell you the answer. You think I was going to tell you the answer? No, we think together. Oh yeah, come and try. So I want to teach, you know, it has to be creative, it has to be have science, it has at least not only math inside. As I teach this on the air, come and give an example.
Okay, ma, you said addition. So we can use sums, can bring in 6, you can't 6, okay, 2, you can't 6, and then you put another 2 things, then you join it together and count. So you can use what you call.
But where is the science in that thing? Where is the technology? Where is the art? Remember what I said. When you are doing STEM education, it is not one subject. It's like, how do you infuse the subject? We are so much come and try test. Come and try. Come. It's good if you have 2 minds. So yeah. Okay. How do I infuse it? See, STEM education is what you are thinking. Oh yeah, come. Someone should come and try. When I give you my own example, you almost say, so yeah. That is just math. Yes. Okay.
To make a balloon moving car. Okay, we told the children you need 2 sticks, all right, and then 4 pop, okay, and the children were given one each of a cardboard, and the children tried to fix. They fixed the 2 sticks. They fixed the stick, one at the front, one at the end, and they added the cork by the sides, and then inflated the balloon. And when there's a pipe connecting to the balloon, when you pump air into the pipe, the balloon moves the car. I don't know if I'm making sense.
How to use STEM into addition? So, first of all, I have to tell them addition is when you bring 2 numbers together, they give you one big number. So I can do when I put green, when I put yellow and blue together, and I mix it together. I put maybe yellow for some color, red, mix it together, it gives me purple. Then I bring out the crayons in those colors, and I say when I bring 4 green crayons, 3 yellow crayons, put them together, sounds like that it gives me sense. An example. Let me give you, sit down. I still have more of this to give out, but let me give you an example. And the reason why I'm going to give you this example is that as I ask more, you'll be telling me more. So let me give you an example, right, of how we do STEM education. So these are my nursery nursery school students. I now give each of them 2 bean seeds. And I tell them that, you know, they should go and plant the bean seed at home. Or they can plant it in class. So when they plant the bean seed, you know that depending on the children, some might come out with 2 plants and some the only one that will come out, you know. Right? You know that. So what that means is that if they plant 2 bean seed, you know, and it comes out with 1, I can ask them, what do you think happened? So because they knew that it was 2 they planted, so how many are you expecting? 2. Right? How many do you put in the ground? 2. But some people will have only 1 come out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say, what do you think happened? Because STEM is not about telling you the answer. STEM education is about you thinking. And it's about it being, so they know that it was 2, and so 2 should come out. But for some people, only 1 will come out. Or 1 will come out. So that's the way that I've blended the 2. And then as the plant starts to grow, we then take our ruler and then we measure it. And we say, okay, this is 1. So let's say this is 1 step. And then the next time the thing has grown, it's like, you know, it's 2 steps. So I can use that to teach measurement. But I'm also, as I'm teaching them that, I'm also teaching them about science. So it's not alone. Can you say another thing? So let me come back to the survival thing. So imagine that we are doing the survival. So you've created your shelter. And I now tell them that, so we created our shelter in this our survival STEM challenge. We want to find out where we are, right? And so I'm saying, you know what, we're trying to find out where we are. What can help me decide on where we are? Can you see that I'm talking a bit about geography? Let's say I told them about physical things, and you know something. So I'm not using that challenge, and they will now go. And that's okay, you know what, everybody take a pad. We're going to be seeing the things around us, and we're going to take like a graph, or we're going to collect, we're going to like, we're going to create like a table. So I'm talking about geography, and at the same time we'll be talking about maths. So they will now be collecting things, and I'm like, oh, how many birds did you see? How many palm trees did you see? Do you understand? You know, to tell me the different types of palm trees, right? So that's 1. Let me give another example. If I'm teaching shapes, and I'm going to teach, you know, we have cylinders, we have, you know, let me say triangle-based pyramids, and I'm going to tell them, okay, put this thing down. This is a cylinder. And I put a book or 2 on top. Why would it stay on this one and why won't it stay on this one? Can you see what's happening? The idea behind STEM education is it must be interdisciplinary, it must promote critical thinking and problem solving. It must apply to real life application. So let me give you another example. We are doing STEM education in a public school in Lagos, and I then asked them to all come up with a problem in their school for them to solve. Now, one of the schools selected this problem that some of you might not even know is a problem. So they say that in most public schools in Nigeria, you know that they have those wooden windows. They don't usually have light. So what happens is that when it rains, the rain comes inside the classroom. So they have to close the windows, right? And immediately they close the windows, the class is dark. So they can't see anything. So they were now thinking of what's the solution to this? And as they think about the solution, they're going to apply science, they're going to apply math. Because when they talk about science, they're going to say, oh, they're going to talk about the bulb, the electric circuit. Then when they do the electric circuit, they know that if they put only 1 bulb, it's not going to happen. How do you determine how many bulbs would happen? So can you see what we are saying? STEM education is not one. It is multidisciplinary. And now I'm going to ask another question. Okay. Let's say I'm teaching social studies and I'm teaching about erosion. How can I bring STEM education into it? That's one. And how can I link it to language 2. Who can try? So,
I will get some teaching aid. I'm going to get a tray and get a heap of sand. I'll put it on a level, to a level. I can mold it into a block form. Then we'll take initial measurements of that level of sand. Maybe it's 10 centimeters up. Then I'm going to tell them we are treating erosion and it's the topic on the basic science. Then I will get a cup of water. I will tell them the meaning of erosion as a language. They will learn it. They will learn the spelling. They will learn the meaning of erosion, which means the wearing away of the earth's surface. I will make them recite it until they know. Then I will also take that water, pour it. I will let them know that this water is like a rain. So I will just pour a flood. I will pour it on the sand. After pouring it on the sand, I will do another measurement. I said, I'll ask them, what do you notice? They will notice a dent. Then we'll measure it again. When we measure it, of course, it's time for how.
You can see the difference there. You can see that even you are enjoying it there. That's STEM education. So imagine, molding a clay like a little mountain. And then you come to the class and you put it there. And tell people, all your students, what does that signify? People have different angles. They say it's like a mountain, it's like a hill. You ask them, why do you think it's like a hill? As they're telling you why it's like a hill, they will talk about the characteristics, right, which I taught them in geography. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I'll now say, okay, I got water. 1 cup is full, I've measured it. I'll say, come and look at the measurements of this one. How many? They'll say, oh, this one is 1 liter. Let's say this one is 500 ml. Interesting. What do you think will happen if I pour the 100 ml? They're like, oh, so you get them, someone pours the 100 ml. Another person takes measurement. So you can see that I'm doing science, I'm doing geography, I'm doing math. They take the measurement. Did anything happen? They'll say, no, nothing really happened. You pour the 1 liter. Oh, they will notice that there's a difference, right? They'll be able to measure it. Then you now say that, oh, if it was not water, what else do you think can make this mountain go down? They'll be coming up with different examples, right? Because erosion is not only water-based. Do you get? So some of them be like, they'll come up with different ideas. You're like, really? Let's try it. And then as you try it, you measure. Thank you. You can use hand fan. So you use hand fan, you first of all get the abebe, which shows small wind power. Then you now say, do it faster, do it faster, do it faster, do it faster. They will not see the effect. Okay, what if we throw things at it like that? So that way they're thinking about it. You talk about erosion. I like the language. She brought in language there. When she said English language, what's the spelling? Do you understand? What's the meaning? We're talking about vocabulary, right? And then I cannot go on to say that we're in Nigeria, because in the end, STEM education must be real life application. STEM education must always end with what? I can't hear you. So I then ask them, where in Nigeria do we have the most erosion? I can give them as an homework. Say, please go and look for places in Nigeria that has the most erosion, take pictures of that and we'll come to the class. So you see, I'm putting in a bit of technology. They're going to go and do research, right? And they will go and then bring us pictures of erosion in various parts of Nigeria. What that does is that they can now physically recognize it beyond the classroom. And then because you said that, erosion is happening in different parts of Nigeria, who can tell me which part of Nigeria has the most erosion? Thank you. The eastern part. And then when I say the eastern part, I can say that, okay, who are the people that live here? They will talk about the Igbos. I'm like, oh, can I know, is anybody Igbo here? Can you speak? What are the languages they speak there? So, consider that I'm going through subjects. And then after I have done that, it doesn't end there. Because STEM education must be problem solving. So after I now pick up one place in Anambra, and I now say that they should go and do investigation and come up with reasons why this particular area has erosion, and what are the 3 solutions do they think they can use to reduce what erosion in that area. Can you see STEM education? Was it only maths? Was it only science? Was it only geography? Did I put some maths? If I want them to add the art part, I can tell them to come up with like a drawing of an area before erosion and a drawing after erosion. Can you see I've done arts there? When they are done, do you think they will fully understand what erosion is? Do you think that when they are walking on the street with their mom, they will say, Mommy, do you know that that's erosion taking place? And they say the reason why erosion is taking place is that the water coming from the rain is allowed to settle in that place. Can you see the learning? Can you see STEM education? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, how many people are doing STEM education in your school? Oh yeah, now we can. Are we doing robotics alone? Are we doing coding alone? So that is what STEM education is. It is multidisciplinary. It focuses on real life application. Right? It makes you think. If you do anything that doesn't make you think, because I can tell you it's not STEM education. So in the end, these children now came up with, because they know that in their school they don't have generator, they know in their school they don't have light, they now came up with a bulb that is powered by magnets. They came up with a bulb that they can power with what? Magnets. They also realized in their school, they actually had solar panels, but they were not really using it. So they also realized that they can power that bulb for their classroom when it rains with what? The solar panel. That is what STEM education is. So you can see that if we are truly teaching STEM education in our schools, we are going to raise problem solvers. True or false? We are going to raise what? Problem solvers. Because every time they will be able to understand the problems around them, what is causing them, what are some of the solutions they can fix. So the idea with STEM education is that you look at what you are doing in the term and then come up with like a challenge that will allow you to navigate throughout the term using STEM education. Okay. So, in this my example there, we've been able to understand some of the teaching best practices of STEM education. The best thing about the best practices is that number one is hands-on. It is always hands-on. So you see the example we gave, they built a mold. They built a mold. We poured water. We can pour sand. All this is just showing them how erosion is. It's hands-on. Sometimes it can be simple. Okay? I like what she said about the car. Right? Let me give an example. If you take a sugar, empty sugar, whatever, give them to build a car. But what you tell them is that you give them 4 groups of, let's say make 5 groups or 3 groups. This person builds it with a circle as a tire. These people, your own is to build your triangle, every triangle. I mean, these people you build it with what? Square. When you are done, when they they finish building it, you know how we used to do when we were young? We attach rope. After we attach rope, we now do competition. And then when you are doing the competition, you will then ask whose own would win. Why would it win? Okay? The other thing, people, they will tell you different answers. I can now say that when I'm doing it, the first time I do it on a smooth surface. You know when you do it on a smooth surface, it move easier. The next time, I bring a surface that is rough and tell them to do it. And then ask them, why do they think it's moving better on the smooth surface than the whatever? Why? Thank you. Because friction, when you say friction, let's be honest, you don't understand what it is. How is friction helping you move forward? You don't understand. So, what STEM education does is that it's hands-on. So when you build that thing for the children, just building it and asking them questions. They will remember that the one with the circle was moving faster than the one with the triangle or the one with the square. And then you ask them questions, why do they think so? What you are really trying to do is to get them to think. Do you understand? It's the same thing. You can decide that you want to show how force happens. After they build that thing, you put a line and then tell each of them to push it with one finger. Push it with two fingers. Push it with their own 5 hands. What are you teaching them? You see, you don't have to be. You're like, why do you think the one finger moves more than the 5 fingers? You're getting them to what? Think. And you're talking about circles. You're talking about shape. You're talking about moving somebody. You can call it just called push. It's when you get later you can be telling them about what kind of forces. But this is just when I push or when I pull. Remember that when I put the boxes, when I was doing the boxes, I was doing what? I was doing pull. And then sometimes when I do push, you see which one they have the box to move fast. Can you see what we are doing? And then you can get them to measure it. And they don't have to use ruler. They can just use something that denotes length. Okay? You can then get them to video it. So we start putting technology inside. They now learn how to use the camera. So STEM education is hands-on. It's always problem-based. Every time you do like a project, you are doing STEM. The only thing is that the project does not have answer. No, it's not project of what's that project I told my son to go? Do the vegetation. No, that kind of project. What the project is not about solving a problem. So let me give you an example. If I give them a vegetation project, and I will say that these are the animals that live in this vegetation, and these are the animals that don't live in this vegetation. I now tell them that one day this animal wandered off and found himself in this vegetation. What do you think will happen to this animal? Can you see the difference? They will start to say, oh, nothing. You're like, nothing. Okay, what do animals need to live? You start talking about Mrs. Gren. Will he find this? What does he eat? It starts allowing them to think through the things that you taught them. So you can see that, when you do project-based learning, you usually tend to do a lot of steps. As long as you think about it on real-life application and problem solving. When you organize a challenge, so let me give, for instance, if you stay in an area, let's say your school is in Lagos Island, it's rainy season, one of the major things that happen is flooding, right? If you give them a project and tell them that they be made the governor and they are meant to solve the flooding issue, or they are the Ministry of Works and Housing and they are meant to solve the flooding issue in there, what do they need to do? But you give some conditions. You say the first thing they must do is they must collect data, right? Because when I say they must collect data, what subject am I infusing? Thank you. Once I tell them to collect data, I'm infusing what? Maths. I'm forcing them to do maths. So they must collect data. So the data can either be the people that live in the area. The data can be the rubbish. It's the same thing when you tell them pollution. The data can be the number of cars that pass by. How many of them are smoking? How many of them are not smoking? When you look at air pollution. Okay? Curriculum integration, I've talked about that. You can infuse STEM education in anything. Someone was giving an example of painting. Right? Let me give you an example of how you can infuse STEM education in painting. When you do something like tie and dye, because you show them that when you mix colors, there's a science behind it. Why is it that if I put these colors on some materials, it won't give me the same design? You want them to think about it. Because if we now have a problem in the tie and dye industry, they can solve it. Because then you explain how it happened. Okay, so I take 1 liter of yellow and 1 liter of blue. Does it get the same effect? If I take 2 liters and 500 ml, they start thinking of the combination. They start thinking of the mass behind it, right? And then I can ask that, okay, what if I pour water into this one? It was 1 liter, but I poured water, and then this one was still. What changes? They start thinking about it. Because you can then use this topic to talk about adulteration, you know. And then you can use it to talk about the real life problem of, you know, adulteration that happens. So let me give you an example. Those of us that are women that go to the market, you know, you can go and buy red pepper in the market that is not full 100% red. You know that. You know that. Take it in cola nut. So there's so many things. So when you start telling them about mixture, you can use real life examples and then ask them if we are to detect what do you think would be the answer? It's the same thing with fake medicine. Do you understand? So in all these things, you need to bring it back to real life application. So if I talk about mixture and I talk about fake medicine, do you understand? That's the kind of thing that you are saying. So you are saying also, how can people test for it? Right? So those are some of the things. Curriculum integration, that's arts. Social studies, that one is pretty straightforward. Even in art classes, you can do that. Many things. When we were young, I don't know, Nigeria has lost a lot of its heritage. When we were young, the furniture we had in our house, the decoration we had in our house, were most of these things they come from wood. You don't really find them now. But when I was young, we had a lot of them as furniture inside my house. Either they were masked, they were carved from wood, or we had the ones that were made from toothpick, or we had the ones that were made by all these fishermen, the notina. Those are the things we had. So if I want to ask them is art, and I'm going to tell them, how do you, looking at different materials, right? We want to use different materials to make this sculpture. You know, how easy was it? You know, I tell them take soap. You know, I can use things that we have at home. I say use soap, use this, use what else is hard? I can even say use yam. Yam is expensive. I want to do for that. So thank you, and you know yam. Those of us that go to the market, I won't allow anybody use my yam to carve anything. So do you understand what I'm saying? So I can use that as art. And use different materials and ask them how easy was it? Why was it easier to cut through soap than cut through Play-Doh? They start thinking about, I can then talk about, you know, different types of materials, liquid, it's all those things. And then, because they're seeing the everyday application, I can then show them how people have used it to sculpture different things. I can show them ice sculptures. Do you understand? And then get them to think, sand, exactly. You know how when you go to the beach and why would to mold this sand sculpture? Why is it easier? It's against. Why would it stay? After I pour my water, pat. Why is it staying? Do you understand? They are thinking, they're like, okay, what's the thing that makes the thing stay? Or maybe because of this, maybe because of that. That is data analysis. Every time you have an opportunity to get them to gather data. So let me give an example. Very simple example. You know when it's rainy season and most people catch cold and students don't come to school. So you can tell them that's their assignment. In the class, throughout this term, it's rainy season. They're going to be taking attendance and going to be finding out why people didn't come to school, right? The person had cold. When you do the cold, you can then tell them, okay, she had cold today and she was 2 days she did not come to school. The next day, 2 days she did not come to school. I start asking them, what can they notice? What can they notice? What do they think is happening? think we should leave, most of them will know the answer. So let's say we now say, okay, you know what? You and me, you have a code. I bring a little picker and say, yeah, spray it. And then we measure how far the thing goes. Can you see what I've done? Can you see what I've done? So they'll start to understand why. But I'm sure some of you two do not know why they were telling us keep limit and you confess. You do not know why now. Now you see, I'm telling you the science. You know, it's the same thing about washing your hand. You know, when you explain the science behind it, they understand how diseases spread. They understand why you tell them when they come from outside they should wash their hands. And they understand after why they're having tummy ache. After going outside and not washing their hands. You see? So, I talk about data collection, I talk about assessment, go beyond the traditional world. When you get them to come and present, see what we did, that's like a way to do assessment. When I say come and tell me how we could have done, that's a way to do assessment. Field trip is so fantastic for STEM education. When you go to a manufacturing place, because when you go to a place that they manufacture, you will see from measurement, you will see that they were measuring, the thing went into the machine, to the engineering part, then they will check it, then they will package it. Why do they have to dry it? Just helping them understand the science behind that, then the engineering part, the arts part. Why are they using this kind of package, not this kind of package? Okay? Let me give an example. If you get 3 products that in Nigeria that are fake, right? Are you listening? 3 products that are in Nigeria that are fake. If you put them side by side, what will you notice? What will you notice? Who can tell me? What will you notice? In the packaging, what will you notice? Yes. The color. What else? What will you notice? Who can guess? The roughness of the package. The weight. I'm getting at something. You will normally notice that they look alike. You see, you will normally notice that they look alike. The fake is never too far from the original. Because they want that if you go to a supermarket and you are in a hurry, you will pick the other one without seeing it. Did you know that? So if I tell them that and they notice that, and I now say that, how can we solve fake products? Yeah, they should go and do it as a project. You will see that art is involved because the design is important when people are trying to make counterfeit. Okay? So field trip, having guest speakers, having people come to speak about their careers and tell you the interjections in their careers. Let me give you an example. Robotics, who do you think creates robots? True of course, a robotics engineer, right? Put up your hand. You think it's a robotics engineer, right? Okay. Now let me ask the question. You know there's a robotics engineer. There's a programmer that programs it, right? There's actually let me clap for her. There's actually a design person that designs it, that designs the way it will look. Then there's a material scientist or a material engineer that will tell you the kind of materials to use. Because maybe by the time they will do it, they find out that the robot is too heavy. So it's very hard for it to move. Do you get? The person that will code it, give it the language to move. And if you want something to speak, then you have someone that is involved in, text to speech, that kind of thing. So can you see that so many people are involved in it? So the reason why I'm telling you that that's really what real life is. If you want to build a house, some people have built house here. Can you give me examples of? Can you give an example of the various people involved? Architect, bricklayer, brick engineer. We don't just call it engineer. Electrical engineer, plumber, thank you very much. Thank you. So you can see that there's the art, the way the building will look eventually. An architect has, a bit of art involved because it needs to look beautiful. The painter will come and the interior decorator, which is more art, the roof guy, all those things have to do with engineering, the brick, whether this material, whether this glass. Okay. So having guest speakers come to speak, but every time you have a guest speaker, you want them to be able to tell about the different careers that come together to make their work come alive. So it's not just you talk about the doctor. What other things help him in his work? You know, the doctor has the lab person. You know the doctor can't do anything. He has the person that wants to do the scan. That scan is part of, okay. Okay, so I want us to do small exercise, but before that, let me just run through. Now, designing your STEM lessons, I'm going to recap all I've said. One, it must be real life as much as possible. That's number one. Two, make it project based. It makes it more interesting. It makes it more, yes. So number one, real life problems. Get them to solve real life problems. Even in your class, this, like for instance, this place is hot. So that's the next one. You see, we have this place, is a tent. We're going to have a project, a class inside, but we want it not to be hot. And it's going to take 250 people. Oh yeah, this is the dimension. So they'll need to come and take the dimension, then they'll do all. So that's a real life problem, okay? Project based. That one is just hard now. Number one, real life. Number two, project based. You are not writing. That's why you see, use your phone. You know your phone can record something. The other thing is that always provide context. Don't can tell them to do something that doesn't happen here in Nigeria. Do something that they can see. You get, so it's always important to provide context. Let it be something that is local. Don't can do the one that they cannot appreciate. They won't see it in real life and they go to school and go home. Provide different resources. Remember what I said when I talked about the erosion? I now tell them go online. Let them now bring pictures of various places so they can do something. I can get them a video to watch of how erosion in a particular place happened. Those are various resources that will help them. It must be inquiry and exploration based. Make them go and find out. Don't give them the answer. Do you understand? And then there must always be room for reflection. There must be room for assessment. So those are the 6 key ways in doing STEM education your lesson. So now I give some examples. So the first example I gave is that imagine for the younger children, you can say, let them, this term, they're going to plant a garden. And what you're going to do is, you get the plant that doesn't take long to plant, and the one that takes long. So you can decide that for nursery school, bring tomato, bring okra, bring water leaf, bring whatever. So that way you show them that we're planting a garden and we're doing different things. And each time we're going to check, how it's growing. When you're doing that, you're telling them about science. And you're also letting them know that changes in your height also signify growing. So I can then tell them that, so me I'm this tall and they are this tall. So who do they think is more growth? They will point at you. Then I'll now bring 2 people that are the same height. Because remember that you want them to explore. And I said, 2 of us, who do they think is over? They'll be confused. They'll be confused. So you now start talking about other things that signifies, growth. So can you see what I'm saying? So planting a garden, plant and manage a garden, and then at the same time, you can even put social into it. You can then tell them that once you have finished planting our garden, that there are some people that don't have any money, they don't have any food. Can we go and give away some of our things? They will be asking you why this person doesn't have money. They will tell you, doesn't he have a mommy and a daddy? Can you see what I'm saying? So that means that way you are allowing them to be aware of social things. So when they're in the car and they're driving past and they see those children begging, they begin to understand why. Oh, so mommy, he doesn't have his mommy and his daddy. Or his mommy and his daddy don't have money. That's right. So next time, next time we have some tomatoes now, maybe I should pack and I'll ask my teacher. So you're also giving them, teaching them empathy. So can you see how everything is going? So you can put, when you have that garden, we pack the okra. Now, I can then take the okra and decide to do cooking class. So if I take 3 okras and I say that there are 10 in the class, do they think this okra will feed all of us? You know, so I'm beginning to appreciate measurement. I can also use bring out knife made from plastic, knife made from, and ask them which of them do they think will help me cut my okra? Why do they think? That's what I'm doing. These are nursery school children. You're just asking them, you're just being inquiring, just teaching them the basics. All these things from planting my little garden, right? And then we can make salad, we can do all sorts of things with it. I can also teach them about the plants that we need to eat and the one that is not good to eat. You know that is important. Before they go and be catching and their parents now come out. So planting a garden, we can talk about designing and you know, a buzzer on an alert system for anything. So let them say, okay, imagine that this house, you don't want them to break into it. And you are teaching them circuits. So you want them to say, how can we now do something? When someone passes this line, the thing will alert us. Do you understand? Or let me give a simple example. When they take light, when they bring light, you know we don't know. But some people know because they have this belt. So ask them, in particular, how would it work? Using circuits. Those are the things that you can do. So remember that I said that it has to be real life application. It has to be, you know, inquiry, but let them think. So another one is, I give another example. Ask them to film a documentary on a social issue, right? So if you have older kids, maybe like people in primary 6, and let me give an example. Independence Day is coming up, right? And you tell them that you want them to go and do a documentary about Independence Day and see what people know about Independence Day. Let them come up with a conclusion of what people know and what we need to do differently. Before they will go and ask people around, so you can ask different people in their area. They can ask the Aboki and say, October 1st means what? The guy says, what does it mean? He doesn't know. You know, so that way they can identify different things. And you say, what does it mean? Why do you think it's important for people to know about Independence Day? So you can turn that into a STEM. Okay, what can we do to create awareness about Independence Day in our school? So can you see, before you know it, art will come into that. They are going to use technology, right? And then remember that we want to collect data to say, okay, how many people are they going to be able to actually reach with this their method? So maths will come into play. Can you see? So I'm giving you one idea for this term. Another one, if you live in a place, let's say that you live in a place where your school causes traffic on that street. And how many of us live in that place where your school because of traffic? There's one street that when others are not so happy because the school causes traffic. And you then tell them that what can they do to redesign that? So that can be the project for the term. If you live in that kind of, if your school is one of the ones that cause traffic on the street, what can they do differently? Some of it is as simple. Let me give you an example. And please always let them know that solutions don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be elaborate. Let me give you an example. So there's a supermarket in the UK. It has very big packing. So one day he found out that you know the people they call gypsy, those people that go about in their caravan. He now found out that gypsies were always coming to park and take up all their parking space. And they couldn't chase these people. And if you know the UK, they don't have security men that are standing guiding the place. So they were now looking, what can they do? Okay, so I will ask somebody, solving this problem, what inexpensive solution can they do? And I'll then tell you what they did. What inexpensive solution can they do? Just take a wild guess. What can they do? I know in Nigeria we only say yes security man. Oh yeah, what can they do? Give me an example. Oh yeah, now you are tired. Hey, they should stop.
I want to get the question right.
Okay. So they had a parking place. You know it happens in Nigeria where it's a big parking place. But they had gypsies that used to come and park there. I know gypsies, they are living in their cars. So they will just park there for 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. They will not take up all the space. I know once one gypsy hears, he will not tell other people, oh, there's this good place to come and park. And then they had more people. So they needed to get rid of them. Okay.
As a negotiant, all we need to do, let them pay for only them. You understand? By the time they start paying for the land, they will increase that.
Okay. You know, as he said the answer, my other question to him is how will you collect your money now? Yeah? Let's start. Because that is how to position someone there. Let's hear. Please get your questions ready. I will take questions next.
For me, I think there's this thing bankers do. Banks, they just keep chain. If I keep chain and lock it, there's no way they can hack.
But when your customers come, now that means they will not go to Okay, you know what? I'll tell you one simple thing they did. They created a barrier. They constructed some. Most cars are a particular length at night. Most cars, you know, they use this one. So they just ensure that it was that length, so that when you are driving, if you are a normal car, you just manage to pass through. But if you are one of those caravans, you'll be able to pass through, and that's how they got rid of them. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that sometimes solutions are not, they're not like bang, 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 bang. Okay, so let's take some questions. Let's take questions right now. How many are implementing right now? Hey, put your hand up well now, you get shy. Okay. How many people are going to? Can you see that it doesn't necessarily require that, okay, because I don't have computer, that's why I'm not doing STEM education. We don't have robotics now. We don't have ICT. I'm waiting for questions though. If you have questions, you see that by the time you implement STEM education in your school, your children will be hot. Their brain will be smoking. They'll be good problem solvers. And that's what we need in Nigeria. People that will solve our problem. When they go into government, they'll be able to solve the problem. Okay, questions. Yes.
Thank you, dear facilitators. God bless you. I have my question was, before I ask my question, I have an observation. You gave an instance of teaching children how to add numbers together. Am I correct, ma? And you told us by the way of bringing seeds to plants. And then when two seeds are planted together, some bring one seedling. If one is added to one, instead of two, and it gives us one, don't you think that's a counterproductive process? Because I don't see the process of learning addition in that example you gave. That is on the one hand. On a lighter mode, I noticed that you were not asking us questions there, so all your gifts were kept to you. Maybe you'll be magnanimous enough to. So I'm just saying, all the people that answered the questions were from here, you faced them. So maybe you'll be magnanimous enough to consider those people under the tree. Because we came late. You've explained STEM as an all-inclusive, as an all-inclusive scheme that requires a cradle of several departments. And now, if I have to teach my students in social studies, okay, let's say I'm going to teach them friction in brain science, and they have to do some sort of a practical all-inclusive, and then they're going to do the one you call erosion, geography and all that. Don't you think that's time-consuming? How do we integrate all this practical into the timing? You know, we have 40 minutes per period, and how many subjects are they going to do at the end of the day if they have to do all of these things? So maybe you should just help us by telling us how to integrate all of this, such that our time is well managed. Thank you very much, God bless you.
Okay. So let me start with the seed one. I was giving the seed as an example. So you can do 3 seeds and show them that it comes up with three plants. You can add 2 more seeds and then ask them how many plants came up. Right? The same way that what makes it real life is the fact that not all the seeds you plant will always be. Right? And that's also something they're also teaching them. So we planted 5 seeds, but that is 3. How many do you think died? How many did not grow? So that's why you then do the subtraction. That's the point I'm trying to say. That it has to be real life. In real life, you can plant 3 things, only 1 will come up. You know? Because when you say 3 equals to 3, that's on paper. But in real life, you can plant 3 things and none will come up. So you're letting them know that if I planted 3 things and none came up, how many died? But if I planted 3 things and only 2 came up, how many died? So you can see how you can do the addition and subtraction. The idea is for you to think about it, right? Now, the second question, which is the same question that people ask, how can you do this thing in 40 minutes? I almost feel that I should turn this question into a practical STEM question and show us how to make it done. But let me give you the easy answer. The first thing is planning. Remember that so let me give an example, right? What subject do you teach? You teach English. Okay, let me use him as an example. What he teaches English, and let's say that in English this term, we are talking about verbs, right? Now, if in English we're talking about verbs, you know, or action words, right? Those are action words. So let me give an example. I want to give an action word. How can I infuse science? How can I infuse geography inside it? It can be something that we do in the class. So I don't come and start saying verbs. I know that that's why you're thinking about it. You won't come and start saying verbs. Okay? Let's say I don't start that way. Let me give I bring erosion out, right? I play a video on erosion and then tell everybody to write down all the actions that happened. Can you see? Now, they watch a video on erosion and I ask them to do all the actions that happened, right? I can then say that, you know, because I'm infusing 2 classes together, teacher, I now say that, can they come and someone act out the process of erosion without saying a word? As they're acting out, we now tell people, write down the verbs that are happening. So you need to look at it and don't think that in your 30 minutes you cannot. What you should ask yourself is that this class, how can I teach it without using STEM from the beginning? That's what it is. It's the same thing with language. If I'm teaching Igbo, I can infuse Igbo to French. And then I can then talk about the world. So when I want to start and say I'm teaching Igbo, I'm saying that where is Igbo being spoken in Nigeria? They will start calling out the states. That's like geography. And after that, do you know that there are also countries that Igbo is being spoken, like Yoruba? Okay, what are the other countries that people have been like, oh my goodness, how do you think that the Igbo from Nigeria go to this place? Can you see? They will start thinking. They will not say, oh, some people say maybe it was when they took them as slaves. Can you see what is happening? So I'm having a more engaging class that allows you to think of real life problems in that 30 minutes. And then I can end the class and say that, go and do a research on the Igbo, the differences between the Igbo we speak here and the Igbo spoken in all those things. It becomes what? Homework. And I can then say the homework is such that once you are doing it, I want you to use in your assignment about this, I want you to use 20 different types of verbs to write something. Have I used more than 45 minutes for my class? Have I used more than 45 10 minutes from my class. So don't think about it. Some of them you can do your class there and then. Some of them they can be at homework. Some of them can be an idea throughout the term that are using it. So let me give an example. This survival war that I talked about is best for a geography or social studies teacher. Each class that we want to talk about, I'll be bringing a new idea from survival. I'll be bringing a new idea. Each class, everything tied down to that. Okay? So in the end, my advice is go online. If you're a math teacher, right, this term, go and say that this term, I'm teaching math, fractions, I'm teaching this. Go and just do STEM ideas for fractions and see how to do it. Okay? So it's a lot of those things. You can do it in your classroom. You find that when you are done, I can bet you, your children will understand the concept more. So you can do it in the 45 minutes. You can do that. You and the geography teacher can decide that, you know what, let's combine. What are you talking about? So that it flows from my geography class to the math class. The two of us have said, you are teaching this. Okay, that'll be my topic. So the idea with STEM education is that the people at the higher level, like if you're the head of school, because you know what all the students are teaching, you can come together to tell them, this is how we should do it around this challenge. So when the geography teacher finishes, when we enter math class, the math class is continuing to talk about it. Okay, so we're talking about the survival challenge for this term. Now, this is what we found out for the person that was stranded in the island. This is what we found out. Please, can you draw a graph of it? Can you see what I've done? I've continued. The one they now go into the something person's class, the person will now say, oh, physical education. Because you are stranded in an island, we are learning how to swim. Can you see what I'm saying? You can then go to the arts class. The arts class will say, they're using paper to make a boat, and let's see the simplest way to make a boat to float. Can you see what I've done? The school can then, looking at what is happening throughout the various surveys, can come up with one challenge that all of you are talking about it and making the learning better. I hope I am helped. I hope that has answered the question. Okay, because he challenged me. I want two people from that side, one are sitting outside of the canopy. I want two people to come and tell me, each person will tell me one way in which they will implement STEM education in their school. The first two